Hello, this is Cheryl Lentz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, doing my follow-up Friday. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late here. I had a class this morning and we were jam-packed, having fun making holiday cards. And we have one this afternoon. So I have some things quickly that I was going to go over with you. I have a card to show you that I made with the Sweet Symmetry, another gift card holder with the Sweet Symmetry set. And I had a request for watercoloring. So the type of watercoloring that you do on the paper where you stamp the image with Sahara sand so you don't see the image when you're coloring. It's kind of fun. Hi, Cindy. I am not an expert by any means on this, by any means, but it's a fun technique and it's something to sit down and just kind of play with. Some people do not like to put water on paper, and I would say this to you. Using the correct tools, the water painters, and using the correct paper, our watercolor paper, it's called Fluid 100, makes a world of difference. If you're using our regular white, Whisper White cardstock, it's polished, and so the water is going to just kind of puddle at the top. So it's not going to soak in. When you use the correct papers, it just makes a world of difference. So I am going to turn the camera around. We'll start playing with it a little bit. And then I also have some different, let's see, 16th, 17th, 18th starts the big sale on paper dies and ink pads, individual ink pads. So I had a couple of dies that I pulled out that I think are really super. And if you don't have them in, get them now while they're 20% off. So let's turn the camera around. Ba-ba, ta-da. We're going to go for a little ride. Once I do this, I can't see y'all. So remember to leave me a message to let me know that you were in my playhouse here. There we go. Okay. All right. So this was the card I did with the Sweet Symmetry. And then we added a little pocket in here using our adhesive strips. So I did another one. Look at this cool granny with the sunglasses on. I thought this was kind of a neat one. But after I was thinking about it, I thought you could do this card and do it in like your football colors, your team colors, you know, that kind of thing. And that would be really cool. So in this one, I also put the piece in there and then I just used the punch so that, you know, you would know to put that in. And it's actually deep enough. You could probably put a couple of them in. So if it's like dinner and a movie, yeah, there you go. So those are made with the Sweet Symmetry monkey cut kit. All right, so now let's get to this watercoloring. Like I said, I am not an expert at this at all. I will let you know, but this is the first one I was playing with this morning. Then I was playing with this one. So the whole thing is, this is our Fluid 100 paper. It's on page 136 of the annual catalog. It's 100% cotton paper, so it's a thicker, and it has a bit of a texture, not as much as the one we used to have, but it has a little bit of a texture. You get 10 5x7 sheets for $9. So it's lots of fun to play with, and you need to just be patient and, like, you know, keep going over it. And then I have our water painters. So they come together. It's on page 129 of the annual catalog. The cool thing about this is that there's 3 different tips. So there's, if you're doing a larger area, there's this flat, a wider flat tip. And then when I put it in here, I always kind of go to the side because I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up my bristles. And then there's this one that's a little bit longer and wider. And then there's a really fine tip one. So here, I should take this off. So you have 3 different choices. Woohoo! And you just fill this up with water. Now I have done some where I filled this up with bleach and did like embossing, and then you're gonna use the bleach technique, and then you can paint it inside the embossed areas. So it's kind of a cool technique. I would not suggest leaving it in there. I would rinse it out good, but it works. But it works. That works too. So here's the first one I did today, using this Words of Cheer stamp set. This is in the holiday book. It's on page 20 of the holiday book. It also comes with dies, and I've shown you those before, but so I used, this is this. And I used a couple different greens, and you can see that you get sort of a whole different look, like a watercolor look. Hi, Vera. So the whole thing is, hi, Patty. When you're doing this, you're not supposed to see the lines. So see, it kind of just gets soft and muddied up a little bit, and it's just sort of fun. Years ago, my sister did toll painting, and she tried to teach me how to do a daisy. I flunked, so that's why I'm saying. But it's fun to try, okay? So what I did is I stamped this image in Sahara sand. I actually stamped off, and then I stamped the image so that it was extremely light. And then I played with this one. So it's this stamp set here, Art in Bloom, which is a very interesting set too, because this Art in Bloom, all these flowers stamp together. And so I painted them 3 different colors. But then this particular thing, it's on page 116 in the annual catalog. When you buy this as a bundle, and this is not one of the dies that's on sale, this is the bundle. You get the stamp set, the dies, and this embossing folder that's like the 3D thick. So I want to show you. So I went ahead and colored these, and then I ran it through that embossing folder. Look at how thick that is. Isn't that cool? Totally fun. Now, if you didn't want to do that, or if you just wanted the textured flowers, you could cut out the individual. They would cut out all together here with the regular die. But to put them on here and get that 3D effect on your petals and stuff, totally cool. So let's, with all that done and said, let's, I'll show you what I did, and we'll go from there. So I did a bunch of different colors. So here I'll do this, I'll do this little Christmas one again. We'll see if I can do it any better. Like I said, I am not an expert at this. I would have my water painters and then paper towel. And I just fold this up to have it to bleed out between the colors and things. And if you get a little too much water on, and you don't want that much on. So Sahara sand is what I used. So I just inked up the stamp. Ta-da. And then I stamped it off on my paper. All right. And then I stamped it on here. So there we go. So it's super light. And then you can start wherever you want. It's like a little light impression. So you can see how light that is. I like that, the idea that it's, you know, you're supposed to just color it along. So I used my little painters here. On the one I did, I used Evening Evergreen, Shaded Spruce. I wanted 2 different colors of green. Petal Pink, and Real Red. So I started out with the flowers. We can do whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is what I do. So I open it up, and this is your palette, right? So to get some ink on there, I turn my ink pad over and I press it down with my palm, and ta-da, there's my palette. So you have all your colors like that. So you can, here's this one, I'll do it again. So I have a little bit more. And you're just working out of the lid of your ink pad. So if you don't have these colors, remember, that's one of the things that's on sale, the individual ink pads. I'm going to close this one up. That's the Sahara sand. All right. So what I did was I just started with this, and I squeezed a little bit of water into the lid, and then I'm just gradually kind of pulling it out. Now, if it gets too muddy and too watery, just tap it onto your, you want it a little bit darker, you tap into the heavier ink. But if it gets too watery, just tap it on there. And I started out by doing a petal at a time. So I kind of went on the edges and then filled in. So like I said, I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just showing you the concept here. So I would love to see what y'all do with it. It's fun. So by doing each individual petal, you're going to get lights and darks, and I think that looks cool. And if it gets too dark, you just, again, just squeeze in and get a little more water on there. There we go. I went edges, and then when I wanted it darker, if you wanted a petal that was a little bit darker, like that one got lighter, you can go back and just add some more accent on there. Here's another petal here. So you're never finished. You can always go back and do more, adding some different color. But this is the basic premise of it. Probably, there we go. And you're just filling it in. It kind of reminds me of, you know, paint by number. Except you're picking out whatever color you want. So they're not telling you which one to do, but I think it looks prettier when you do the individual petals because you get the coloring a little bit different. You know, every time you do it, it's not exactly the same consistency. And if you want to, again, if you want it a little more accent, just go back in and add a little bit more color on the edges or wherever you decide. The other one, the other flower I went in and did the lighter color, and then I did the darker color in the center. But that's all you do. And then you perfect your, you know, you perfect it. So I'm going to go in the center. I'm going to go a little bit darker. So I'm going further in to my, because there's like another little petals here in the center. And you can also, if you want it, just touch the pad too, and you'll get a darker petal, or you'll pick up a little more ink. There. So I'm just working my way around. Pick up a little more ink here. There we go. And then you can let it dry. It doesn't have to be covered entirely, but you can see that you get all these different shades, and there. So see how it's all different, and it'll look different once it's dry too. Okay, so that's one. And then when you want to go to the next color, you just squeeze out your water painter and ta-da, it's clear. Now I have people who either love watercolor painting or they don't. So just kind of, again, I'm just going to squeeze out a little water, start mixing it, pull it over. I love shaded spruce. Look at all the blues. It's a real different green. It has a lot of blue undertones to it. So it's kind of a fun. And so I use this on part of it, and then part of them, I thought it adds interest to it to have different colors of green. So that's what I did. There. They had some veining here. So I'm just going to kind of go down and do that, kind of pull that over, and then fill in the inside. Ta-da. And then even on the boughs, I just went over the line really light. So this is just adult watercolor. You're just coloring it in however you want it, and you kind of add a little more water, and it just kind of muddies it up, and it looks soft. You're going to get a lot of dimension in that. So that's that one. Let's see here. I think, well, here's evergreen. As long as I have that out, I'll show you. Then I went with the other petals because I wanted to add a different green, add more dimension to it. These petals, I just went around. I could probably use the thinner tipped one. And again, I did light and dark, so some of them are lighter, some of them are darker. That just gives it dimension. Lots of fun. But you have to take the time and just play. You know, and if the first one doesn't turn out, try it again. It's just paper. You can always get more. But there you go. See how soft that looks? I could just keep going. I guess I like this technique. Now, to do this in class, you know, everybody would have to know it takes a bit, and you know, either you love it, Karen, I know that you don't, but it's a lot of fun. So try it at home when you're not under any stress, and this leaf goes over more, I think. There we go. But there you go. Ta-da. Now the flowers, that was a bigger item, so it was easier actually than this little tiny fine stuff. But I did the same thing where I took my stamp here, inked it up with the Sahara sand, stamped it off, there we go, and just stamped it on here. The cool thing is that if you do this with the embossing folder, you'll see all the little lines. It was really kind of a neat, oops, I didn't push it down over on the one side here. Well, we'll do the other ones. See that? I missed the tip of that petal, but we can improvise. Okay, so on this one, I did a number of different ones, but my favorite one was probably this one that I used. I used Calypso Coral and Pale Papaya. Kind of a weird color combination, right? It's so light, but I wanted to try all different colors. I did Mango Melody and Pumpkin, and I did, on the very first one, I did Fresh Freesia with Polished Pink. So we got a variety of colors here. So here's my light. And I'm going to use this bigger one again, but I'm just going to squeeze it out, make sure I have all that Evening Evergreen out. And again, just putting a little bit of water into I have a piece of fuzz in there. Okay, like that. And this one is so very light, so and then I just kind of went around. And this has like little lines in it, so I didn't color everything in. I just started around the edges and pulled it in around there. So it gets from darker to light. A little bit of accent there against each petal. Ta-da. I'm doing this a little bit faster than I mean, I'm a major putzer, so to me, this is great fun. Whoops. And then I want a little more color, so I'm just going to put it right directly into the pad here. Pull that up. I feel like I'm coloring upside down now, because usually I have the petals going a different direction. There we go. But it doesn't have to all be filled in. That's the key. You're going to get a lot of color, and I'm going to add some other color in there. So just know that you can always go back. You can blend by adding more water. There we go. Really soft. It's a soft look. And then I didn't want, Calypso Coral is a little bit more bold, right? So I didn't want it to overpower it. So I, again, watered it a little bit. Started in the center, because that's what I want. Heavier, right? The center of it. And then I just sort of did some little flicks, kind of following the line drawing here. So that one got a little bit darker in the center. But if I want to lighten that, I could just add more water here and soften those lines up a little bit. Just kind of pulling it out. And I was so surprised when I put it through that embossing folder, and then all the little crannies and it really builds it up. I'm going to put a little more puddling in the center where the center of my flower is, so it's a little darker. But yeah, so this is how that one turned out when it's dry. It looks a little bit different. So ta-da! So try this at home, even if you don't stamp every day. That's been the topic of conversation. I was in shock that, not everybody stamps every day. And I would encourage it. It's really good. It's good for you. It's a good creative outlet. So here's my wide one. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. So that is the watercolor painting. Short. And then I'll make some cards with this, so I can show you next week what I did with it. But lots of fun. You get a totally different look with your stamp sets. So now I was going to talk to you about, so there's this big sale going on, right? Starting on the 16th next week, 10% off cardstock, 15% off individual pads, 20% off dies. So there are some dies that you don't have to have the stamp set to do the dies, right? And one of them that is so much fun is this one. It's called Give It a Whirl. So it has all these pieces. It was $39, now it's $31.20. Next week it'll be $31.20. And you get all these pieces and all these choices for fun things to do. And here's some of the cards I've done with it. And this one I used the Love You More Than set, and this set of dies is also going to be on sale. So, and that's for $24 from $30. So this is the Give It a Whirl though. So I had the option of the heart, this heart here for the cutout, and then you just turn it. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? So you could do any card with any stamp set with this. Cookie Monster. So that was one of them. Ta-da! And the heart that cut out, that's what I put inside. So nothing wasted, right? So the Give It a Whirl, so much fun. Here's another one I did with the Give It a Whirl. We did a Halloween card. This was in our card kit, actually. So much fun. It's really cool. And do I have one more? Yes. Okay, this one I was thinking of my son because they're campers. So I thought, how fun. I didn't have to do any DSP in the front like I did on these two. Just plain, and I just stamped it. And then, I put the opening on the bottom instead of the top. So we have all camping motif here. Ta-da. The tent. Binoculars. Whoops, come on. There we go. And then back to, I love this. I love the coffee pot sitting by the fire. So kind of fun. Ta-da. So that's a really cool one. So think about that. Give it a whirl. If you don't have it, it looks like there's a lot of working parts. Very easy to use. Really, really sweet. And the Love You More Than has all these nice words. That's always a fun thing to have. And where was another one? I was going to say, and I don't have this one all, I should punch it all out, but this one, Word Wishes dies. So this is all your big words. So here's Happy Thanksgiving you can do. And these are nice. So what you do is you take your adhesive sheets, put it on your cardstock, and run these through. And then they're nothing but big stickers. So here, what you could do, Happy Father's Day. Here's the day. Ta-da. Let's see here. What is this one? Christmas. Yeah, that would be Christmas. Merry Christmas. You can do Happy Mother's Day. Halloween. We've used it on our Halloween cards. Valentine's. So you're getting all your big holidays. New Year's. There's the Mary. And St. Patrick's Day even, and Easter. So this is a cool set. It's on page, is it on page 166? I'm not sure. Yeah, page 166. $28.80. You will use this forever. This is great to have in your stamping arsenal. All these words. And along with our adhesive sheets, it's just a breeze to use. And so much fun. And they're a nice size, you know, versus like the bigger alphabets. Everything's all spelled out. You don't have to worry about it. There we go. So that's just a couple of suggestions. And then I had, I showed you that card. So that's it. Oh, here, I have one more. These are on sale too. The Majestic dies, Majestic Mountain dies. So this is what we did with one. We made a shadow box. So all this is from the Majestic Mountain dies. Really cool, because you stamp it, and then here's all the trees that you cut out. Here's the mountains. We did 2 sets of the mountains for this shadow box, but really fun. These are very cool dies. So I'm not sure what, I didn't look up the price. I didn't write it down, I guess. I'm so sorry. But Majestic Mountain dies, if you don't have them, think about it. It's a good standalone die set too. All right, let's turn this around. Hello, Carol. Here we go. So that's it. Look, check out the list. The list that's listed when it's online, and you go and look at. It's called the seasonal sale, and they give the page number for all the dies. The paper, your cardstock. What a great time to fill up on your cardstock, and it doesn't end there. There's the cat visiting us. Here's another food for thought for you. There's a special going on through the end of November. If you sign up to be a demonstrator, even if it's just for the discount, like 95% of us did, you can get these items next week. So you're getting $125 worth of product for $75 during the special. And you can get the things that are on sale. Ta-da! You can get more bang for your buck. Something to think about. Well, that's all. Thank you for joining me. Have a great weekend. I think it's going to be snowy and kind of interesting weather here in Wisconsin. But have a great weekend, and I will see you back on Talking on Tuesday at 2. That's the day the sale starts. So let me know if there's something you need to get in right away. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're over 500. It's so exciting. So thank you so much for supporting my stamping journey. Bye-bye.